A full check on the runners and riders. Number 1 is Backstage. He was a big fancy for the Grand National last year. Jamie Codd is brilliant here at Cheltenham. Chapeau Turgeon was second in the race last year. Creevy Tennant's a very interesting outsider for one of the youngest jockeys in the field. Connor Schumark, Divine Intervention. He's been running well in Hunter Chase. A 16-1 shot Galon Nui for the Murphy team. A lot of big priced horses here. Oscar Delta would be one with a slightly better chance for Jimmy Mangan, who won the Grand National, of course, with Monty's Pass. And Salsify for Coleman Sweeney, seeking his 3rd victory in this race because he also won it a few years ago for Paul Nicholls on Sleeping Night. He's the 5-2 favourite. And what a laugh. I wouldn't entirely rule that one out.
Of late, and maybe he didn't really handle the conditions.
He's a strong stayer, however, and that may be key here. It's certainly going to be necessary.
Talk me through this Creevy Tennant. I watched him at Musselburgh. He's an exciting horse, but he might have that tendency to jump to the right.
Well, he is professionally trained by Fergal O'Brien, ex-Twiston Davis assistant, heavily responsible for Imperial Commander's 2010 success. I'd give him a chance at a price, Creevy Tennant. Claire?
Won't be long till the off of the Foxhunters chase. Mick Fitzgerald with me. Do you have a thought on this, a fantasy?
Stephen Clements, who rides this horse, Tricky Trickster, festival winner as a professional. Now he's doing it purely for the love of it. Rides a very patient race, but I've had a good word with Jack Barbaro. We had a look through the map as well. And I said, look, don't do anything any different. Ride the same patient race, because he's a very short runner, that Chapeau Turgeon. He'll have to produce him at the right minute.
They're gearing up to get going, and good news is that gearing up to get going racing again is John McCririck. We've heard that he's out of hospital. He's making a good recovery and he should be racing at the weekend, which I'm very pleased about.
Steady in front, steady in front, steady in front, steady, steady. All right.
Out they come and away they go then for this, the CGA Foxhunters chase over the full Gold Cup course and distance, and heading towards the first fence. Creevy Tennant is the first to show in the pink jacket. Creevy Tennant over from Dr. Kingsley on the inside. They're all safely over the first. Louis Pasteur is handy in green and orange colours with Coombe Hill. Then Oscar Delta. Dante's Storm very wide early on, followed by Merchant Royal and Current Exchange. Fazel hit that. Further back, Chapeau Turgeon. Cottage Oak. If you're looking out for Cottage Oak, it's a colour change. Black, white seams on Cottage Oak. Try and pick him out at some stage on the way round amongst the many runners. Earth Dream further back with Keenan's Future in the midfield as well. Salsify, the favourite, being held up 3rd last at the moment, with also at the back Radetzky March and Backstage, and Benedictus is also towards the rear. But Creevy Tennant opening up a pretty good lead, but jumping away to the right, paddled over. Oh, he could very nearly have unseated Connor Schumark there. Pretty good sit, but the horse doesn't want to be jumping like that on this course, on this left-handed course. He wants to be jumping left, not right, as they go to the next. And there he goes again, followed by Louis Pasteur in 2nd place. Coombe Hill on the right in the blue sleeves, white armours, nose-banded Oscar Delta. Hoop sleeves out wide, that's Dante's Storm, followed by Cottage Oak and a noseband. Just tracking the leaders, that black and white jacket from Merchant Royal. Then in the yellow is Dr. Kingsley. Further back is That's Rhythm in orange colours. And then Current Exchange. Keenan's Future is on the outside again. Creevy Tennant jumping markedly right-handed. Tricky Trickster in the pink colours back in the field. But these are still early days here as they now race uphill towards the open ditch. Salsify remains 2nd last in the dark green jacket with just Backstage in the light blue. Oh, there's another one at the back there. Radetzky March. That one is struggling at the rear of the field as they jump that one. Galon Nui made a mistake in the rear division as well. Chapeau Turgeon at the moment with about 6 behind him, the grey and the blue and green jacket, as they run to the next playing one. Creevy Tennant jumping erratically. Oh, and Louis Pasteur was nearly knocked to the floor there by probably Oscar Delta, who's now in 2nd place. Cottage Oak. Louis Pasteur survives around the inside then of Dante's Storm. There, followed by Coombe Hill and Merchant Royal, and then What a Laugh up the inside of Current Exchange as they jump the next plain fence. Coombe Hill makes a mistake there. That's Rhythm is one of those towards the rear in orange colours, followed by Chapeau Turgeon. Tricky Trickster around the inside. Salsify out the back still. Also Gallant Nui towards the rear, Backstage, and Radetzky March. On down the hill, Creevy Tennant continuing to show the way and continuing to jump sharply right-handed. from in second. And Chapeau Turgeon was far from convincing there at the back of the pack as Creevy Tennant continues to lead them from Oscar Delta. Then Louis Pasteur on the inside, Cottage Oak in that noseband, the black and white jacket, followed by Merchant Royal and Dante's Storm and Keenan's Future on the outside. Then What a Laugh and Dr. Kingsley after these Divine Intervention and Current Exchange as they return past their departure point and now on to another plain fence. Creevy Tennant is over in front from Oscar Delta in second. Chapeau Turgeon again not altogether convincing over the fences. No move yet from Salsify, still in the second half of the field. Going to the next, Creevy Tennant, Oscar Delta, then Cottage Oak, and nearly gone was What a Laugh. That was a pretty good sit there by What a Laugh's rider Guy Brewer as they race in front of the stands, and it is Creevy Tennant from Oscar Delta, Cottage Oak and Coombe Hill, then Dante's Storm and Divine Intervention. Up the inside was Louis Pasteur, who's struggling a bit. Keenan's Future and Merchant Royal and Hoopy out wide then of Current Exchange. Then Dr. Kingsley round the inside, followed by What a Laugh and Chapeau Turgeon. That's Rhythm is further back with Tricky Trickster, and then Earth Dream from Gallant Wee, Salsify right round the inside. Fazel towards the back along with Backstage as they land over the next plain fence. Radetzky marches last of all, and Benedictus is also towards the back of the field. On now to the water jump, and Oscar Delta trying to get up perhaps the inside of Creevy Tennant here as they jump the water. Creevy Tennant from Oscar Delta, they're safely over, and looking back they all land safely. And now on to the open ditch, and Connor Schumark still in front on Creevy Tennant from Oscar Delta. Divine Intervention, the blue and yellow jacket, made a mistake there, getting a bit ragged behind. They're getting quite strung out. Cottage Oak is still in touch. Current Exchange is still in touch as well with Coombe Hill. Then Dr. Kingsley, Chapeau Turgeon trying to make ground. Salsify is now on the move in a dark green jacket. We'll try and pick him out, Salsify. Back on into about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10th place on the inside. Dark green jacket, lighter epaulettes, the favourite as they jump the open ditch going up the hill. Salsify jumping there ahead of the grey Chapeau Turgeon. Meanwhile, up with the leaders, it's still Creevy Tennant from Oscar Delta. Then Cottage Oak. They've got 5 left to jump in the Foxhunters. Coombe Hill is back in fourth, and then Divine Intervention. Then Dr. Kingsley. Salsify steadily making his way through the field, relentlessly through the field. Creevy Tennant still leads the way, heading to 4 out from Oscar Delta, Cottage Oak, and then Coombe Hill as they race towards this plain fence at the top of the hill. Salsify is out after them as they jump now, and Oscar Delta might just have been left in front there in the noseband as Creevy Tennant jumps slowly. Then on the inside is Cottage Oak as they run down the hill. They're chased by Coombe Hill. Salsify round the inside, just out of shot at the moment. Salsify getting ever closer in the dark green jacket. This is 3 out. Oscar Delta from in second, Cottage Oak, Creevy Tennant, then Salsify moving into 3rd place. Salsify, they're followed by a Divine Intervention, Chapeau Turgeon. A big roar from the crowd. The favourites looking so strong here. Oscar Delta from Salsify, last year's winner, as they run round the final turn. It's Oscar Delta on the inside, Jane Mangan, and Salsify now has to be woken up because Oscar Delta has found a bit there, and Salsify suddenly coming under pressure from Coleman Sweeney. Still a long way to go, 2 out. Oscar Delta by 3 or 4 lengths to Salsify in second place. They've gone well clear of Cottage Oak. Can Oscar Delta keep going here? Got 4 lengths on last year's champion with the hill to climb. Oscar Delta over in front. Salsify is out after the leader. Oscar Delta by 3 lengths to Salsify. Racing up the hill. Oh, and Oscar Delta's run against the fence and unseats Jane Mangan. Drama here up the hill, and Salsify is left clear, and Salsify will go on and repeat last year's win in the Foxhunters fortuitously because Oscar Delta was still going home well. Divine Intervention second ahead of Cottage Oak, and then back in fourth Dr. Kingsley, and most of the rest of the field have pulled up. Salsify, the 2-to-1 favourite. Coleman Sweeney wins again, but drama on the run in here because Oscar Delta, Jane Mangan, Oscar Delta hung left-handed into the little rope rail there, and unseated Jane halfway up the running, went still in front, but it's gone to the favourite. Here is the drama. Oscar Delta leading the way over the final fence. Salsify out after the leader here. Oscar Delta had run well all the way in the first 2 or 3 throughout, and then disaster and out the side door. Maybe the saddle might have slipped, but certainly the horse jinked, and Salsify was left clear.
He went to half, jumped that.
Poor Jane Mangan, she's only 18 years old, the daughter of the trainer Jimmy Mangan. The horse is jinked with her, she's lost her balance and just, comes out the side door. That's the most dramatic finish of the whole week in our final race, live on Channel 4 from the Cheltenham Festival. It hands Coleman Sweeney victory once again on Salsify. He looks round to think, what happened there? And Ted Walsh, you're watching, I mean, poor Jane, she will be distraught at that.
Oh, and indeed she will, and so will her mother and father. I mean, I've never seen that was the most dramatic thing I ever saw. I mean, it was a bit like Willie Twiston Davis here a couple of years ago, the same, similar, except not as a spectacular. That horse jinked, he went to half jump the pole or something.
So Coleman Sweeney ends up winning, and he's with Alice now. 2